Hope we're all ready to play some Dungeons and Dragons tonight. We've got Rime of the Frostmaiden. We are returning after kind of a stiff cliffhanger. But before we start back in on that cliffhanger, we got a couple of pieces of business to address. That number one thing, a recap. So if you're interested in earning a DM inspiration, which might be useful in this session tonight, please give me a recap roll into chat. I've got an 11, and I've got a 12. Going once, going twice, and we will sell it to Lotus with a 12. Take it away.
All right. So, last session, we picked up during our journey to Revel's End Prison, doing a travel challenge, which we passed very with flying colors. We can't use inspiration. Oh, yeah, you can't leave yet. We made it to Revel's End successfully. We were greeted by the stable master, who graciously decided to take in all of our sled dogs and also keep an eye on our prospective prisoners while we talked to the warden. We were allowed in, went through this really interesting decontamination process, which Alicia is definitely interested in talking to the resident cleric about, see how that all works. Then we were led into this room that we're in here. We told the warden about our prisoners. She was willing to graciously accept them, though her accent seemed to change quite significantly. And eventually we learned that it was because a dwarf had apparently died while being interrogated, and the dwarf's spirit apparently takes over her whenever anything related to spirits or ghosts or other such things are mentioned. Alicia also said that they would maybe examine them, see if there might be a way to exorcise that, which is apparently the second time within this 10-day we've dealt with someone who's been possessed by a spirit. Hopefully this will work out for us in the same way. After telling the warden about the prisoners, I did ask to speak with Valish Gant, the other reason why we were here. Brought them in and explained that, well, apparently he had been wrongly accused of being the ringleader of the protection racket in Brinchander, and then revealed to Gant, while we had a brief moment alone with him, that I would work on getting him out, but he just had to play along and keep his mouth shut. Eventually, the Absolution Council came in, and apparently one of them, a Dragonborn, is fascinated by me, scared by me, can't really tell. But apparently he's got envy of my luxurious tail, so maybe we can do something about that. We explained the situation to them, but they didn't buy it. So went with a different lie that was hopefully a bit more easier to believe, that instead of him being completely innocent, Valish Gant was just a part of a larger scheme. And he was essentially turned informant, and that's why we're wanting to get him out. Though we did assure the Absolution Council that if for any reason he didn't give us actionable information, or he didn't behave himself, we would bring him back here and he would just spend the rest of his days in a cold cell. They rolled fairly well, and they seemed to believe it. They went off to deliberate, and after talking amongst ourselves for a bit, we left off when they were just about to come back into the room and hopefully give us the good news? Question mark.
As that is about to happen, we have to have our own deliberations over a fact inspiration question for this one. Your characters have full meta knowledge. Who do they believe would win in a one-on-one fight, random encounter between Captain America or Batman? And why? Akia, what is the answer to this question?
It's a trick question. It's definitely not a random encounter. Batman is playing for this. Either way, Batman's going to outsmart Captain America.
I see. He's going to use the smarts. I like it. Okay. We have one for the Caped Crusader. Please take a Factspiration point, Akia. Game in the Glaive, tell us, who do you believe would win this fight, given your knowledge?
This is a 1v1 fight, yeah? Or the other extenuating circumstances?
This is 1v1, a random encounter between these two persons.
Well, even if it, was a genuine random encounter, although I do not the answer that, Batman has basically planned a time and place for this quote-unquote random encounter. If it was random, Batman is a planner, and that is where his strength lies, in preparation, in practice, and patience. He would come out on top because he would, even if it's not, he's thinking to himself, it's unlikely I will run into this blow. He would still be aware of him, do his due diligence in terms of strengths, weaknesses, strategic capabilities, tactical prowess, and he would have multiple contingencies and may have something specific cooked up, a way to nerf the vibranium shield, perhaps. I don't know. But Batman's going to win because fundamentally, Captain America, while very strong and capable, he works for the team. That's his strength. He's the leader, and he's got others to back him up, who sort of complement his skill set. We bring other things to the table. That's how captains always operated. He, being part of the military and joined the Avengers. He's always got somebody supporting him in some way, shape, or form. I've got to give this one to Bats.
Let's do for Batman. Please take your Factspiration point. Now let us ask Alicia, aka Lex. Please tell us your answer to this question.
I think everyone else has brought up good points. Batman is a planner. Batman is a tactician. He has a rogues gallery of a lot of superpowered individuals, and he, for all intents and purposes, is just a human man, very well trained human man, but still a human man. But for some reason, he has still been able to find himself on top against all his other superpowered rogues. I feel like while Captain America is extremely trained and well equipped in his own right, I don't think when it comes to being able to kind of analyze and neutralize a threat, he would be on the same level as Batman. So I feel like for whatever time he has available, he'd be able to figure out some sort of countermeasure and put that in place against Captain America, be able to take him down. I hate to get on the train, but I give it to Batman.
Okay, that's 3. We will please give yourself a Factspiration point. Marcus Noble, aka Evilise, aka the White Lotus, tell us, what is your answer to this question? What do you think?
Well, is along the same lines as everyone else. Say, yes, Captain America is strong, and he is definitely a very capable soldier, but Batman has more gadgets, he has more know-how, he's master of several different martial arts, and while it would be, I think at first a very even match, I think it's something that Batman would be able to analyze the situation fairly quickly and pull something out of his utility belt that would probably neutralize Cap pretty quickly.
If it was 60s Batman, he would legitimately have anti-soldier repellent spray. Pelts.
You see, old chum, all I have to do is spray this in your face, and your super soldier serum ceases to be a threat.
Into a Brooklyn accent. That was perfect. Please. Mark Snow, please take a Faxpiration point. Now that we're all charged with Faxpiration, we're all on Team Batman for this one. But the secondary question, who is the better kisser? We'll have to think about that for next time. Let me take us back to the scene. Oh, we're already on the scene.
A quick aside before we start. Because that made me think of this, do I need to watch Batman versus Superman?
I mean, the cinematic universe that it was supposed to really kickstart it's gone. It's no longer happening.
So you're saying meh?
There's, I think, 2 really cool scenes in it. When Batman gets to take down a warehouse full of guys.
And totally doesn't kill anyone. Mm-hmm.
He doesn't kill any of those guys. The guy that he like shoots in the chest and
Let me shoot you with an M60 at point blank range and not kill you.
Oh god. That one was pretty dope. I think that was a pretty good scene. That actually might be the only cool scene in the I think the Superman versus Batman scene is not too bad. It's kind of unbelievable. The scene when Ben Affleck is working out, that's pretty good. It doesn't mean anything because, he's about to fight someone with super strength, but they do show him working out.
I mean, not going on a tangent, but I think the opening of that movie actually was pretty decent. Bruce Wayne just watching the utter destruction that was happening from Superman, the Superman movie, while it was happening in Gotham and all that stuff. I think that was kind of interesting seeing it from that perspective of just like how underpowered everyone is when 2 godlike beings are just having fun.
I think that's a really good way to put it, because in the movie they're just like legitimately not even hurting each other. They're just like catapulting through buildings, lasering.
I mean, they're just
things.
smashing each other and stuff like that. Meanwhile, everyone else, I hate to put this as the analogy, but essentially they're going through 9/11 during that time. So,
Yeah, buildings are coming down.
Yeah.
I mean, call a duck a duck. I mean, yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. Like superhero movies, they're cool, but when you're a civilian, fucking terrifying.
Mm-hmm. And then at the end of the movie, when they have to fight the thing, they're like, this entire downtown has been completely evacuated for completely plot-related reasons. Yeah, no one's gonna get hurt down there.
Well, that's our superhero culture.
Okay, I don't know if that answered your question, right?
Sounds like it's a pretty bad movie overall.
Have you seen the more recent Batman?
I have not.
I would recommend that one.
Mm-hmm.
It is dark. It is not one for wee kiddies, but it is. If they were to build off of what they've established there, I'd be all for it. And also, I'm looking forward to the Penguin show. I hope that turns out pretty good too.
What's the new Batman movie?
So that's the one with Robert Pattinson. I think it's.
This is called The Batman.
Yeah, it is the Batman. It's a lot of. So it kind of goes back to the original.
More detective kind of Batman.
Yeah, more detective, like more back to Batman's roots. It draws heavily inspiration wise from
Year One.
from the Year One comic. Yep.
Sorry for the tangent.
And it's totally unrelated to the Joker that's going on with Joaquin Phoenix. Yeah, no, they have stuff all over the fucking place.
That is
I
true.
mean, in DC's defense, well, not defense, but I mean, like the way they've been doing the comics, like everything's all over the fucking place there, and always has been.
Yeah.
Well, no, not always has been. More recently, it has been all over the place. I feel there was greater continuity in previous storytellings.
Before this devolves into a psychoanalyst of Batman and DC Comics, let's probably get along with the session.
So as the Absolution Council steps in, and Lotus, she has shared all because these movies all came out before she came to Icewind Dale. So she told you guys all about this. You guys are having this conversation in character. They walk in and they're waiting for the conversation to end so they can give their verdict. And when they see it end, the council members all look to Jill Torbo, the halfling member of the council. Not to interrupt all of the conversation that has been happening, but I think you might be interested in the verdict behind what is to happen to our Vaelish Gat, prisoner 237. Based on the evidence and the claims that you all have made in your roles as Thanes of 10 towns, representatives of Bryn Shander and the other cities, we, the members of the Absolution Council, grant Vaelish Gant his release into your custody. I had their names to show. So this is Jill Torbo, the very fancy-looking man. Is Voss Anderton, and then the other Dragonborn in the room is Kriv Norexius. He's definitely not a member of Organization 13 from Kingdom Hearts 2. The Counselor Jill will ask, is there any questions that you all have before we get into the signing of all the official documents to release prisoner 237 into your custody?
Thank you for coming to this decision. As I said, you do not need to worry. We will be sure that Gant here will see justice done. And, well, he is very much aware what will happen if he does not cooperate.
Of course. Please, we have the documents ready here for you all to sign, for we all to sign, the Warden to sign, and of course for Vaelish Gant to sign. There are many lines on these documents to ensure that everything is done properly. First, she produces a custody transfer agreement. This agreement transfers the custody of Vaelish Gant from Vevel's End to you all, the party. The second document is an indemnity agreement protecting the Lord's Alliance, Revel's End, the staff of Revel's End, from any legal liabilities or repercussions from Gant's release. AKA, they are fully putting this on you guys if anything bad is or were to happen.
I can't sign I'm a minor. I can't enter into any legally binding contracts.
Are you the Thane of Goodmead?
Yes.
As the Thane of Goodmead, they would not make a child the Thane of Goodmead.
They did.
Well, then, that is very poor on their side of things. Thanes are supposed to be adults. If you, sir, are in fact a child, then we need to call into fact the Lord's Alliance to protect you. You are a very large child. How are you so large? You're bigger than our friend Kriv here.
I was born this size.
He's been in my care. I'm his guardian, and I have him on a high protein diet.
Oh, I see. We will need your guardian then to sign for you, because you are representing Goodmead. So, sir, you will have to sign twice.
I suppose that works for me.
I mean, I am his guardian in matters of the law, where he cannot act on his own. However, as he is still a minor, I cannot enter into a contract on his behalf. I can only enter into a contract towards my own ends, as I understand the role of guardianship.
Oh, well, this is quite a pickle then, because we needed all of the representatives to be of able body and mind and of legal age to sign these documents. We're going to have to discuss on this.
Akia, puts his hand to his chin. He's like, am I an orphan? Akia's never considered it, and they're just considering it out loud right now.
Out loud, the members of the Absolution Council go, orphaned? How did you find yourself orphaned and then in the care of this man? We have a lot of concerns here.
Well,
The well-being of a child.
I'm not... I think I need to consult with, I think I would have to ask a lawyer if I am... I'm not sure. I'm gonna have to ponder this question.
Whether or not Akia is or is not an orphan, he is under my care and protection. Those are separate matters. He is more pondering in a philosophical sense than in any actual sense of being bereft of a caregiver.
Certainly. But it does...
But if his council is requiring all parties of the White Lotus's traveling companions to sign, cannot the documents be amended to exclude those that are not able to enter into a contractual agreement?
I'm sure that they will have to now. We will have to do that post haste. Well, then, you three who are of adult age will have to make sure that Vailashgant behaves himself.
So we're taking him on the honor system. Is that it? While you amend the documentation.
We will amend the documentation, but we will have to leave the Akia out, as they have proclaimed. They are a minor, and they cannot enter into this agreement.
Right, I'm glad we're on that same page together. But no, I mean, if you're going to have to redo the contracts, the investigation and the sensitive nature of the information that Baelish can provide, it is sensitive in a timed nature. I think we may need to forego any official documentation and take him of our own accord. Our reputation speaks for itself in terms of what we are capable of doing, and while you may be able to indemnify yourselves, we are going to be liable one way or the other. So, come on, let's just get on with it and let's have justice be done.
You're going to need to make a persuasion check to this group of councilmen to see if they will speed this along.
Oof. Um.
Best of luck.
Yeah. At least it's a straight roll. I don't have negative to my charisma. I could try some bullshit, but I don't feel right doing that. So yeah. Here goes. I'm gonna burn a DM inspiration for advantage.
And I see a 16.
I think this will be fun, so I'll throw in a. I think this is 4 more. Akia's just spouting random law books that they remember reading. It just random.
According to this
law,
precedent or this court case, I like it.
but mainly about their own thing. It's just very distracting.
Well, then we will speed things along then. We will need you to... We will forego the parts where we need a signature that would be in danger or endangering to a minor such as Akia here. We will need you all to sign these NDAs, ensuring the sensitive information about the prison, its operations, and all incarceration is kept secret.
Yeah, no, I'm not signing a non-disclosure agreement.
They all look around like, why? Why not?
I don't think I can enter into a non-disclosure agreement either, but I would be willing to consider a mind wipe if you had mind-altering magics.
X-Day on the mind IPA. No. Look.
Well, I can't
understand you were
disclose
trying to
anything about the prison if I don't remember the prison.
Right, but I don't want to mind wiping the lot of us, mate. I don't trust someone messing around with my head with magic. Savvy?
Might be an interesting experience.
I don't care how interesting you might find it, we're not doing it.
The councilmen have started to walk over to one another and they're starting to act suspicious, don't you think?
No, it's not a matter of suspicion. It's a fact that your NDA, what pertains to protecting what you view to be proprietary and sensitive information about Revel's End. I mean, what are you afraid of? People are going to find information out. Your secrets are going to be, swooped up by some other organization that's trying to make another supermax prison or whatnot. We're not a whole bunch of artificers. We're not a bunch of rogues. We're not here to do skullduggery. We're here to act in the name of justice, and as such, standing citizens, why would we, divulge secrets which we know nothing about? And not to mention, I don't know if other courts of the land are gonna, find your NDAs legally binding. What might hold up here in the north might not fly in Waterdeep. You know what I mean?
I'll look to
Not to mention, how do you enforce it? I mean, it's complete, fucking nuts. It's so much taller. No way.
Revel's End is an extension of the Lord's Alliance, which is supported through the city you just mentioned, Waterdeep, and several others throughout the Sword's Coast and beyond. This is a intra-factionary place supported by the Lord's Alliance and the cities of the Sword's Coast. So many places would support our legal documents. And as to why we would want to keep this information secret, well, there are factions at play, such as they look at Velishgant, the Arcane Brotherhood, you brought in Zentarum agents that would love to know the inner workings of said prison to recover their agents.
Gaiman, I don't think there would be any harm in signing an NDA.
Oh, I mean, there's no
just-
harm in the actual signing, but the problem is that, you know, what bad actors are going to do, and I don't want to give them a leg to stand on to say, you came in the glaive, we have reason to suspect you violated NDA and be brought up on charges. I'm not going to give them that opportunity. It's just because, you know, some guy got bribed, or, you know, plans got leaked. Other things can happen outside my control, and I'm not opening myself up to, you know, legal prosecution at the whims of some bureaucrat. Thank you very much.
Well, Gaiman does have a point. If someone else violates their NDA, and then Gaiman gets accused of violating his NDA because you don't have evidence that points to the other person that violated their NDA, that does open up Gaiman to slightly more legal trouble.
They look to one another and they look back to the guard and they say, we think we might have to go back and deliberate based on new information about these people that we have been dealing with.
Lotus, the whole time you all are doing this, just is doing the best she can to hide her frustration. But she'll let you speak, and then she'll take in a deep breath and say, Gaiman, these council people are up very late and are doing us a favor, even entertaining us at this hour. Can we just sign the documents so we can all go on with our lives, please?
Oh yes, Gaiman. If you sign the documents, I can maybe leave faster. That would be wonderful.
We could also just, you know, leave. Listen, Kia is not able to enter into any agreement, and I refuse to be held responsible for someone else's cock-up. So I don't see why, you know, Lotus here can't just assume sole responsibility for Gat. You know, she's the one that's been petitioning it, and all we are effectively are hired guards. So, her side.
Lotus will turn to the council and say, well, I admit it may not be the most ideal for you all, but if you would accept those terms, I would be more than happy to accept sole responsibility.
Lotus, please give me a persuasion check to see if they will accept these terms.
All right.
Lotus is like, I just wanted to see my dad this whole time.
Yeah, this might be an important role, because I'm not sure Gaiman's backing down. Oh, wow.
28.
28. They look and they say, we will award this to you then, Lotus. So we will have you sign the documents. And of course, our friend Valish will have documents that he has to sign. Now, if it was not clearly obvious based on the magical nature of this prison, these documents are magical in nature, Lotus.
Of course, I would expect nothing less.
Yes. So when you sign this NDA, if you are to break the contract magic that is in place will inform us here in the Lord Alliance that you have done so. That is how we know. It is quite a tricky thing, that contract magic. very bureaucratical. Anyways, we have to have you sign this, and she pushes over the custody transfer agreement to Lotus.
She'll start signing the papers, and she'll say, like, "Oh, this actually isn't the first time I've signed an NDA. I've spent quite a bit of time as a journalist, and I know how to protect my sources."
Indefinitely. And then,
Gaiman will. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
oh, but please continue.
Gaiman will go up to the ward and he'll say, "With this whole NDA business, something that you might want to consider in the future if you're bringing individuals that are not going to be incarcerated, deeper into the premises, is explaining that they have to be blindfolded or whatnot, or make him sign the NDA soon they're up, because us having to sign it after the fact in here, it's a little, it's a bit disingenuous. After we've had a bit of a look at that, I mean, we're going to keep our mouth shut, mum's the word. So, if all this legalese nonsense is a regular thing, you really ought to have some.
She nods to you and she says, I thank you for your suggestion, and any feedback is helpful in trying to improve the efficiency of our prison. She takes a long swig from her whiskey flask.
Does Gaiman get the sense that she's just trying to blow him off to get him to go away?
No, she's just infected by the spirit of this dwarf that makes her drink whiskey at all
like the
times.
way she was saying, I appreciate your feedback, we'll take it under advisement, yada yada yada. Is she just trying to get him to move along?
No, I think she genuinely appreciates your feedback.
Okay.
She is a honest and upstanding lady. Now, also being slid over to Lotus is the indemnity agreement, giving no responsibility to the Lord's Alliance and Revel's End, and all of the responsibility to Lotus.
She'll look it over and sign it.
Excellent. And notice, here is your NDA. She passes the NDA over to me.
She'll look that over, read it over. Looks good. And then she'll sign that and slide it back.
They take their turn signing these 3 documents. They then hand a behavioral compliance agreement over to Baelish Gant. He looks it over. It basically asks him to not be a total fucking asshole and lead adventurers to their deaths. He shrugs his shoulders and fills it out. And last, they make sure that the warden, the council members, Lotus Baelish, signs all of the processes. And they fill all that out. The council members say a few arcane words, and after the arcane words are completed, copies of the documents appear. And they seal the documents in a scroll and give it to you, Lotus, so that you have a copy of your documents.
All right, she'll take the sealed documents and put them away in her pack. Say, very well. Once again, thank you all for this. I know it is quite late.
Yes, it is. The council members will all agree, and they will begin to shuffle out. Gant slides back from the chair. As he's sliding back and he stands up, cumulative Revel's End prison guard walks up to him and snaps an ankle bracelet around him. He looks down to the bracelet and to the guard, and the Absolution Council looks to him and says, "Apparently you did not read your behavioral compliance all the way through. As a part of your compliance, you'll be subjected to magical observation through that anklet. We just want to make sure, of course. And the council members will start to file out. Snooty man being snooty. The halfling woman saying her last words. Lotus, Kriv throws one solitary glance toward you. His silver scales glowing in the candlelight. And he walks through the door. And the door closes.
When you say glance, can I judge, like, I don't know, can I judge, like, the intent of it? Like, how was he looking at me?
Make an insight check.
Alright. 17.
Lotus, you believe he was making a sultry glance.
He'll blush a little bit under her cheek.
The door closes. The guard steps away from Valish Gant. The warden will take another swig from her whiskey and say, well, that's over. How else can the Revels Inn staff assist you all?
Well, it is quite late, and we certainly don't want to go traveling back amongst the darkness, so if you have quarters available for us, if someone could show us the way.
Yes, of course. We could have you stay. And she kind of looks at a kind of a diagram that looks very much like a hexagon on the wall. This is clearly Revel's End. We could have you stay here in the empty absolution chambers. Either there or with the stable master.
I would prefer to stay with the stable master. My child is there anyway.
And that is your choice.
As Kia's guardian, I suppose I have to go keep an eye on him as well.
Suppose I shall go as well. The rest of our entourage is there, and I am sure we wouldn't want them worrying about us if we were to stay the night in here.
The warden nods. Well then, you all have bedding in the stables then, it sounds like. In the morning, Osborne and Thorn will be serving meal in the mess hall. You are welcome to a meal.
Akia starts doing a very, very slow, exaggerated walk towards the door.
The warden will look to prisoner 237 and officially change his name back to Valish Gant on his token. Well, this one will be staying with you all. I will be in the mess hall in case you all need anything in the morning. It has been an interesting evening, but I think it's time that we all settle down for the night.
Yes, and once again, thank you for seeing us so late. We shall take our leave.
Of course. And the warden will nod, and she will remain in her seat. And the guards here... Oh, go ahead, Alicia.
Warden, may we speak for a bit? I am
Of course.
curious about your condition.
Alicia, you don't need me right by.
The warden says, no, I think you better stay. Please, return.
Oh.
And the guards look to you, and they turn around and make kind of a wall.
I don't know if they need to stay, but it's, I guess, your call, Warden.
It's fine.
No, I think it's probably for the best. You all are a team. The information I want to make sure everyone has so that you all can work together.
Just out of character for a second. I'm great. I'm just having a good time making a key and not be great. Just in case anyone's wondering.
So, you have questions about my condition, the warden says.
Right. How and when were you possessed by this dwarven entity?
Besides, well, there's the cover story, and then there's what actually happened. You see her eyes glow with a quick arcane glow as the door locks, and the air shimmers briefly as you're all surrounded by a small arcane shield. Let me tell you what really happened. She reaches into her right breast pocket and produces something that you all recognize. A silver harp pin. I am a member of a very specific faction, unknown to the rest of the prison. You see Baelish Gant, open his mouth wide. Spirit infecting me. He was another member of said faction. We were adventuring together when we found a Zentarum hideout. In the battle that ensued, many spells were cast, many curses thrown. When my friend Vlax was killed, but in the process of his passing, his spirit latched on to my body, to my very soul itself, unable to move on. I feel in my bones that if I were to make a trip to his ancestral home of Gauntlgrim, perhaps being amongst his ancestors would allow his spirit to move on, but I have neither the time nor the resources to do so. My work here is too important.
Gauntlgrim?
A ancient dwarven city. A sort of between the upper world that we live on and the Underdark.
Have I heard of this city and where about its location would be?
Give me a history check. You are only a child, as you have kept reminding us. Yeah, you've heard of it. You guys would know about Gauntlgrim, and it's kind of a famous city. And what she's saying is accurate. It is a kind of between place, a city kind of under a mountain that you could take to enter the Underdark.
Do we know about how far away it is? Like across the world?
Like, is homegirl just being really lazy?
Yeah, is it like a long way away? Is it like I don't want to go to that Walmart. This Walmart's closer.
I like how you're just gonna be like, are you just lazy? Get up off your ass. So it's under a mountain near Neverwinter. And you guys are way the far up.
Yeah.
So it would be a several month journey for her to go there and back.
It's our DM's way of saying, no, you will not be adding that to your side quests.
Yes, I don't think you guys are like, okay, hold on. Auril, take a second. We gotta go to Gauntlgram to help free this dwarven spirit out of this
Nah, there's
prison that we
been
just made.
enough. I'm not taking that side quest.
Mhm.
Not even adding that to the to-do list.
That is quite the trip. I can see why you're hesitant to take it.
Yes, and with what has been happening with the never-ending winter, the ever-increasing attacks by different monsters, the sea of moving ice becoming even more tumultuous than it ever was.
Well, maybe one day the sun will come back and you can take a boat there.
I get the feeling that maybe there is an alternative solution right here in front of me.
Well, I can't say that I'm not curious about this. Maybe there's something I am able to do, but it may take some time to look into a solution, aside from traveling a couple months out.
Yes, of course. And I think perhaps with the possessions that I have in my bedroom, some of my own and some of Valax's, perhaps there's a ritual we could conduct to make his spirit come out.
May I take a look at these?
Of course. Would you all like to accompany me to my bedroom?
Okay.
And Baelish raises his hand. Am I coming? Am I coming too? And she says, "Yes. You're not to leave your charge's sight, unless you want to go back to your sail."
Yes, that is something I wanted to ask. The anklet our new friend is wearing. What's... It's like, does it deliver an electric shock, or how does that work?
It's a monitoring anklet. We want to be aware of our friend Baelishkant's location at all times.
Ah, I see.
If he were to ever go rogue, we could use that anklet to track him down and, well, maybe do with him what should have been done in the first place. I hear there are some places in 10 towns where they burn wizards that have conducted evil acts. He visually gulps.
It's fine. Just don't do anything bad. Ever.
He looks to you like, uh-huh. Okay, that'll be easy.
So easy.
Right, the warden will say, well, then shall we? And she will have some guards lead you guys to her bedroom. Oh, some of you got pasted into the side of the mountain. There's still some of you over here. Okay. Warden's bedroom. This room is lit by a warm, continuing flame spell, casting dancing shadows on the walls. Its main features are a large, comfortable bed, a wooden desk cluttered with papers, and a locked chest. The air is thick with the scent of old parchment and arcane residue. Welcome. This is my quarters. Give me a moment and I'll unpack.
Is that chest a mimic?
She looks and says, why don't you find out?
Okay. I go over and I gently pet the chest.
It does not come alive and try to eat you. Is Akia sold?
Akia continues to pet the chest.
Mm.
I think it's just a regular chest.
I think you're right. The warden will actually go over to her desk and unlock one of the drawers, and she pulls out what appears to be a small satchel. She says, these are some of Vlax's personal effects that I was able to take off of him after his body passed away and his spirit entered my body.
Alicia will look over them.
Inside, you see a leather necklace that is bound to a small shard of mithril metal. You also see in the satchel, there's a kind of collapsible handle warhammer that looks to be of fine make. And the final piece within it is an empty flask.
Just look at the flask. Whiskey?
He nods. Even before Vlax's spirit joined with my body, it was one thing that we shared. The love of a good whiskey from Mirabar.
Would there be some type of check to try and figure out a ritual that could be used to separate their spirits without something horribly happening?
Absolutely. Alicia, based on her training, might know of a ritual from her past, so you could give me a religion check to see if you have an idea of what to do.
Okay. Don't have Let's see what happens.
You can guide yourself.
Yeah, I was thinking about that. I attempt to cast magic. Does anything happen?
You are not immediately struck down with like spiritual cuffs or anything like that. You still have your
I do have my holy symbol because I was able to convince them for that.
mhm.
Okay. I'll put guidance on myself while I do this. Fuck it, I'll burn my back spell.
There we go. Okay.
So-
Alicia, you know of a ritual to do this, and you are high success. You believe that you can conduct it using the components that were important to Vlax in his life that the warden has produced for y'all.
Okay. Alright. I also have a spell that would be available to me, but I would need to prepare it tomorrow. Alicia will say, I believe I do have an idea of what I can perform, though I may need to reorganize what I have prepared in the morning. Would that be amenable?
Of course. I don't want to push you too far.
Though I do want to ask, is this something that you're comfortable with? Having them within your body, or if they were to be released from you?
I believe that Vlax needs to return the afterlife to his spiritual ancestors. And I am quite tired of whenever someone says something that causes me to turn into Vlax or start to attribute myself to him.
Fair enough. Well, thank you. I will prepare myself for the morning. I suggest you also get some sleep as well. I can't imagine this job is anything but restful.
He nods. And the warden will bid you all adieu for the evening. And send you guys with several armed escorts through the prison back to the area of...
Akia blindfolds themselves with their cloak.
Excellent, thank you. Send you back to the area of the stables, and go ahead and do that. Boop. When you get there, you see that there are several guardsmen who are in the process of chaining and putting manacles upon the Zentarum agents and upon the Verbeeg and the Ogre. They also have kind of almost like a, I don't want to say a ball gag, but something that's stopping them from like screaming out and yelling that they have put into their mouths.
I imagine it's also to stop them from like verbal spell components.
Absolutely. And they're just like...
Bye, Doug. Bye, friend.
Very much like the adults from a Charlie Brown cartoon.
Be good.
They look to you, and Doug will give a small wave goodbye. And they are led into the prison. You see that the prisoners are all dosed with a massive amount of the like the cleansing powder. And then they're led deep into the prison. Their fates to be decided by the other prisoners, of course. So as you all are let in, Talbot the stable master will say, we don't got a lot of room, but it's quite warm and comfortable in here. If you all would like some more hay and straw, let me know, and I can try to make it as comfy as possible.
Lewis will nod to him and say, thank you. Say here. And I go over to this dog here, one I named Angelico, and I'll just sort of lean down, just pet him, saying, like, you've been keeping a good eye on my man.
The dog will point to Watto and then do the pointer stance and nod its head.
Give him a pet and say, good boy.
So, heroes, with the night that you have remaining, do you guys get up to anything, or do you wait for the morning to go back to help the warden with her ghost problem?
Alicia moves into the corner, takes out a couple of books, and just starts reading through them in order to get an understanding of how to perform the ritual. And it's just silent for the majority of the night.
I don't think Akia does anything. They're still pretty uncomfortable in general about being at the prison.
Is there something that Akia feels that they have to atone for, or that they feel guilty about?
Yes.
Okay, so we know what Akia and Alicia are doing. What would Lotus be getting up to?
Alright. I'd say at some point, this wouldn't be just for Watto, but just for like the rest of the party as well. And she would just be sort of wandering out loud and just being like, I already talked with Watto about what he would be doing, when I finally got back home, but I guess I haven't really got much thought to what I would do when I got back home.
Watto would ask you, so what will you be doing when you get back home?
Well, I guess that is the thing, right? Like, time's been kind of weird to me. I still don't know for sure how long I was, on that Mind Flayer ship, and here I've been here for about 6 months, give or take, but, it's like, I'm not sure how, the passage of time might be different, or, like, what if I go back and, everything's different?
Watto nods, and Danica says, what if, when you returned to what you would consider the past?
Well, I guess that would give me a bit of advantage, having knowledge of stuff that will come to pass, but worry whether or not people would consider me a prophet or a witch. And believe me, even before I have left, I was viewed with derision and such negative judgment by those around me.
I think I read a book about that once. Don't interact with yourself.
I'll be sure to keep that in mind. I would say, certainly, my first thought would be to see my mother. I'm sure she's been worried sick about me, and get back in touch with my best friend Diamante. I'm sure knowing her, if she hadn't heard from me in so long, she probably dropped whatever she was doing to try to find me.
Watto will say, I hope that they are okay, and I hope that they made good decisions.
Right. Oh, and there was something I wanted to talk with you about, Watto. You remember the Absolution Council I was telling you about?
Yes, of course.
Well, there was a dragonborn amongst them, and he seemed to be... She stops herself for a moment, and her face starts blushing again. He seems to be interested in me.
Watto will cross his arms across his chest and say, "Really?" And like lift an eyebrow.
Look, he hasn't said anything, and he generally kept himself pretty professional, but... Oh, how do you feel about that?
Well, I hope we're not embarrassing anyone over here by talking about this in such tight quarters. He looks at everyone and checks to see if anyone's embarrassed. When he doesn't see if anyone is looking embarrassed or not, he'll look back and say, "Well, Lotus, as you know, my past was in the cult of Grazd, and that is something that we would often will partake in. It is a activity that Lord Grazd actually, put as a commandment that we all partake in. Many gods and deities will ask for their followers to perform certain activities. That was one that Grazd asked of us.
Right, but you have moved on from that, and I didn't want to make any assumptions in that regard. And I wanted to be sure that, you and I are in a relationship, and if there's anything my mother has taught me, is that in any relationship, you need to have open and honest communication in order for it to be a good and healthy relationship.
Well, Watto will look to Lotus and say, "Well, this is an important question. Do you feel like you reciprocate these feelings with this member of the council?"
Well, possibly. He's the first other dragonborn that I've seen since I've been in Icewind Dale, so I don't want to, as we say back home, jump the gun, as it were. I wouldn't mind maybe, talking to him, maybe seeing if there's something there, and if you're okay with it, maybe see if anything happens.
Lotus, I think these type of things are important to explore, and if your heart feels that it's right, I think that it's the right thing to do.
Thank you. And I'll reach over and I'll lean over and give him a smooch.
Mhm.
It's all for me.
I was going to ask Gaiman what he's up to, but Gaiman is AFK, so we will... Oh, Gaiman is returned for being AFK. Gaiman, during this evening time, does Gaiman get up to anything?
Not in particular, but he will try and have a quiet conversation with Alicia, if at all possible, and to basically say, "You're welcome."
Sorry, say that again?
So, Gaiman would want a quiet word with you to basically say, "You're welcome," because you didn't have to sign any of the documents that they were getting on us about signing.
I see. Okay. They'll look up from their books. Thank you. It was... I was curious where you were going with that, but I see now. Bit of a awkward situation.
Although, a bit happy accident, because I do genuinely believe that NDAs are bullshit. and I'm not about to leave myself exposed, legally speaking. Not to mention, I'm sure there was you didn't want to be up or anything.
Very true. Well, now that we have them, and they'll take a glance at Valish, in our custody, while we're not legally responsible for them, that's more on Lotus, we still do have to keep an eye on him.
Most definitely.
And then we'll kind of take a glance around the room and I guess still spot Talbot. And we'll just kind of look back at Gaiman, but I think that conversation will be for another time.
The
It's,
stable master kind of looks around and kind of checks the room temperature and says, if you all don't mind, I'll be heading out now. The guards will be just outside this door. I've got to get myself a good night's sleep.
Even though he did leave, I still am hesitant to say anything more since we're still on prison grounds.
Don't worry about it. I just felt the need to I guess be right about something for once. I'll let you get back to your meeting.
I will say I am quite amused with that crown. It has made you into quite the lawyer. I feel like you'd be able to put up your own in Baldur's Gate or Waterdeep. Definitely Neverwinter though.
I haven't had any formal training. Probably would be a good thing to have, but I don't know. Worries me a little bit that I become so reliant on it, you know? But I wouldn't want to go back if I could help it. Enjoy your book. Get over there in the corner. Have a good night.
Good night, Gaiman.
Akia very awkwardly, as Alicia is reading their book, will take the golden reliquary, and that has now been inlaid with the golden filigree, and will just sort of put it on the edge of the top of the book and just sort of lean it over to where it starts sliding down one of the pages towards them.
You know, you could have just said, "Here, Alicia."
Ikea shrugs.
Thank you, Akia.
You are welcome.
I must say, this is quite exquisite work. This will do quite nicely.
Thank you.
I very much appreciate what you've done.
I hope it works for you.
and at least we'll kind of spend a couple of moments just admiring it.
There's a lot of geometric shapes on there. A little bit of the tree and leaf filigree that Akia has done before. There's also some symbolism of the sun and kind of Akia's interpretation of what Lathander's blessing feels like in golden filigree form.
Think while Alicia is kind of looking over and studying the piece, not even really kind of paying attention, but just kind of under their breath, but definitely loud enough for Akia to see. They'll just mention that it's beautiful.
I don't know how Akia shows that they're happy. They probably just walk weird. Because their face doesn't really move. Their eyes move a little bit, so I think you have to tell by Akia's eyes when they're happy.
Yeah, when Kia kind of walks off, Alicia is definitely smiling at him, and then goes back to her book.
Beautiful scene. I want to award all the players a DM inspiration for their role playing in the prison scene that we have had so far. So please all give yourself a DM inspiration
Thank
for
you.
your role playing.
And Marcus, I hope you know now that I wasn't trying to sabotage things. I was just trying to position things to minimize the responsibility of those that were not completely on board with the plan.
Look, it's totally fine. The reason why I was silent that whole time was because I was laughing hysterically.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm glad I
want to ruin. I did not want to ruin the moment. It's why I put myself on push to talk.
That works. Just I just wanted to make sure that you knew that my intent was to help the others with their concerns, while at the same time trying to move your goals forward.
That's all good, but I appreciate you putting that out there.
I think Akia does feel guilty about this Valish Gant thing. Well, they're not so much feeling guilty; they're worried. So I think they're just like, if he escapes, anything bad he does is Akia's fault, sort of thing.
Now, technically, it's just Lotus's fault.
Right. Well, Akia doesn't feel that way. So Akia is definitely. They might. DM's choice. Akia might take a point of exhaustion because they just stay up watching this guy, just because they feel so nervous that that's gonna happen.
Give me a Constitution saving throw. We will set the DC.
Before he does that, Gaten would, before bedding down, would approach Akia and say, I hope I didn't bother you. Said I was your guardian. I just figured it was the quickest way to alleviate the situation. You claiming you being a child would not be a problem for the rest of the party. Like there was a responsible individual, looking after you. Not saying you aren't responsible for yourself, just that to making sure others weren't going to try and put you in a bloody orphanage or some shit.
I think I'll think about that one actually and talk to you about it later.
I mean, I'm not saying I do or I'm not saying I do or I don't want to be your guardian. It's just seems the most expedient way of
Right.
moving the conversation along.
I think I understand. And I am not sure how I feel about it yet. And I will bring it up later. Maybe.
See,
It
I
is.
would like to point out. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say it's not. It did not bother me. I can say that. It did not bother me.
Glad it didn't bother you. And again, not trying to tell you how to run your life. Just it was a spur of the moment thing. Plus, there is a contractual obligation when it comes to guardianship. As we haven't done any of that nonsense, I'm not your guardian. But I do have your back. And tell me there's a problem, mate. You do it all right. You seem a little distracted with your tinkering.
I'm sorry, what'd you say?
I said you seem a bit distracted with your tinkering. Like you don't have your same level of focus you normally do when you're making shit up.
As soon as we are free of all of our responsibilities, and Akia is just blatantly pointing at Velishgant. As soon as we are free of all of our responsibilities, I'm sure we will all feel much better.
Well, you worry about little old him?
Yes.
Why?
If he does something bad, I would feel partially responsible.
Why?
I feel like you are going to try to talk me out of feeling partially responsible.
Probably. I'll hear out your logic. I'm asking you to explain yourself. And I mean, if it's a matter of keeping an eye on the arsehole, you got me, you got Alicia, you got Lotus. I mean, we've all got vested interest in making sure this motherfucker doesn't break loose and cause more problems.
It's nothing that we haven't really discussed before. It's the same feelings. And hopefully nothing will come about.
Is there anything I can do to help alleviate your concerns?
Not that I know of. Unless... no.
What? Say it.
Well, my initial thought when you said that, there was a part of me that said, well, if Gaiman slept on top of Velishgant, I would feel more comfortable.
Well, maybe practical reasons, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. What if we got Manacles. And he was, we was chain gang buddies.
I do believe that would make me feel better.
Baelish Scamp pipes up. What are you guys speaking of? We're in the middle of nowhere. In the middle of a prison.
This is not about how you feel about things. This is about how my mate Akia feels about the situation. You don't get to say them out. So shut up. I'm going to go get some Manacles. You and I are going to become real close friends.
Thank you, Gaiman. I appreciate that.
No problem.
I assume that we can ask the guards for some chain gang manacles.
Yeah, you can knock on the door, and the guards will peek their heads in. They'll say, "Do you guys need some hot cocoa?"
Actually, that would be lovely. I've got a bit of a sweet tooth. Hot cocoa when you hit the spot. Actually, no. I was hoping to trouble you for a set of manacles. Longer, preferably. I'm going to chain, fuck that over there to my wrist, so he doesn't go off there. The guards have hot cocoa. Anybody else want hot cocoa?
I'll take a couple, please.
Watto will raise his tail. Mr. Nabanaka will raise his hand, and then Danica will raise their hand. Everyone wants cocoa.
Oh, yes, that'd be quite lovely. Thank you.
But make sure none of you give it to the dogs. Chocolate is very, very bad for dogs. Size, these dogs, it'll give them the shits. Won't kill them, but not good for them.
The guard nods in agreement that the hot cocoa is not for the sled dogs, and they will go off to the mess hall to go get several cups of hot cocoa for you all. And manacles.
All right. With that, Akia does actually rest.
Baelish Gant rolls their eyes. Is it really necessary with what is going on?
Absolutely. I don't bloody trust you. And you're just that conniving sort of bastard that would find some innocuous way to, fuck off and disappear. But if you and I are chained together, mate, a Gaiman will give him an evil smile and squeeze him hard into a side hug. You're not going anywhere, boy.
Well, I don't have much place to go. Ooh, you're squeezing me so tight. The guard will return in just a few minutes with your guys' objects. While the guard is not there, do you guys try to speak about anything secret?
I would say while the guard isn't there, I would approach Gant and say, well, now that you're out, I think I should properly introduce you to my friend, and I'll gently, very gently.
Akia will walk over to Lotus and tap her on the shoulder.
Yes?
And point down to the ankle bracelet.
I will keep that in mind.
And Akia will make a thumbs up signal and then go back to their wall.
Alright. It's I will very, very gently pick the owl up off my shoulder and hold it out towards Baelish Gant. Alright. You may reveal yourself temporarily, but just keep your eyes out for the guard.
Scarrick will polymorph themselves into the shape of an imp and say, that's the genuine article right there. That's the old Vaelish Gant. The subject of your contract, Lotus.
So, have I fulfilled my part, or do we actually have to be off the prison grounds first?
Well, I think you're pretty close. And you still have that key. He looks down at the ankle bracelet and then back to you. Shrugs his shoulders.
I do. I believe the terms of the contract say, once I have fulfilled my part, that it will be returned.
Nodding his head.
So, I assume that is up to your judgment then. And she'll reach into her pocket and hold out the key, which I would assume to most eyes would just look like a regular mundane key.
Absolutely. Baelish looks over to you all. What are you going to do with that?
Nothing at the moment. But, as I said before, if you behave yourself, we will both get what we want out of this situation.
Scarrick will say, let's see how the night and the morning goes, and we'll go from there.
Indeed. We'll turn back to where he was before.
The imp says, oh, Vaelish, you owe the master quite a large debt. I'm sure he'll be excited to see you again. And Vaelish chokes back a frown as the imp talks to him. You guys can hear outside the door the footsteps of the guard.
So while that's kind of going on, Alicia has taken a break from their study of stuff to take out some materials and start doing a ritual spell front, and they're going to cast this.
Okay, excellent. Okay.
And here are the associated questions.
Answer with a yes or no. You must ask your questions before the spell ends. You receive a correct answer. Okay, the answer to number 1 is yes. The answer to number 2 is also yes. The answer to that is no for number 3.
Okay. And then I guess they start hearing footsteps from beyond the door.
Yes, and you hear a quick knock at the door, and then the guard comes in with the largest drink carrier you've ever seen. He says, hey, everyone, I thought you could all use some of this, and he will give out those cups of hot cocoa to everyone.
I might need to install a mouth one day. And a digestive tract.
Also, he hands over to Gaiman the manacles he requested.
Awesome. He's you got a key for these, right?
The guard will nod and hand you the keys as well.
Oh, perfect. Thank you. Okay. So Gaiman will take the key, and he will basically. So I can't remember the art that was done for Gaiman. What with the chibi art, I don't know what he's wearing. But at this point, I just kind of feel like he wears a fur kilt. I mean, it may not be the warmest thing, but I mean, I don't know. I feel like maybe Highlander vibes are kind of what he admits. So he puts the he puts the key to Sporran, and he puts the one end of the manacles. He like shackles it to his left wrist, and then he'll shackle the other end to Baelish Gant's right wrist. And how much slack would you say?
I'm going to say that it's probably got about 5 feet of, not 5 feet, probably 3 feet of slack between you and him. So it's pretty close, but still enough room to move around.
Okay. But we're always just going to be next to each other.
Yes.
We are best buds now.
All right. Long rest.
Yeah, if there's anything else, or if there's nothing else, you guys could a long rest. And it's a good reminder that at the start of the day to make sure to give yourself that 10 temporary hit points.
So we wake up in the morning. Lotus will say, like, look, it's been a while, guys. I'm just gonna step outside to have a smoke break. So, knowing, of course, that it would obviously be a bad idea to light up a cigarette around the dry hay, she'll see Talbot say, like, where would be a good place for me to have smoke?
The guards kind of like look around, and Talbot's standing there, and they basically open their hands like anywhere.
All right, I'll just be around the corner here. Just around here. Then have her take out cigarettes. Use prestidigitation to light it. And of course, I'm sure, just like before, when she takes it out, she just hears a key's warning about how smoking is bad for you. And
Absolutely. Well,
Who
you
else
guys
is up at this point? Are we all awake, or is someone sleeping in?
Awake at dawn, as
Hmm.
or what
In that
constitutes
case,
dawn.
like his Gaben will look to Alicia and say, as I am a recovering addict, at what point does it cease to become hypocritical on my part to get on her about her smoking habit?
Hmm. You know, that's a very interesting question, and I'm not exactly sure how to handle it.
I've done my part.
She seems to be ignoring it.
That's okay. I've done my part.
I don't know, Mom. I just kind of feel it's kind of bullshit. And plus, it's just gross. At least when I was killing myself, I did it in private, away from everybody else. But at the same time, I was turning to some kind of cat creature.
Well, I know some people do it for different reasons. I'm not saying that those are the right reasons, but I guess, especially given this current situation, I can see why.
Alicia, are we accompanying you to this ceremony?
You don't have to. You don't wish to. I should be able to handle it on my own. Unless you want to be there to witness.
It might be interesting.
Though, while I do have you all here, how much of slack is in that chain that you put on Valish? Or Valish?
3 feet. Give or take.
Nah, shit, that's pretty close.
You can always tell the bloke to go earmuffs and start saying la 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 so he can't hear us.
That'd probably be for the best. Is this guard here?
No, he would have not been there in the morning. He just would have dropped off that.
Off the drinks. Go!
Okay. Then Alicia will look at Valish and be like, you turn around and don't turn back around until we say so. Cover your ears.
Oi. Yeah, right. Earmuffs. Go la 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 la. Otherwise, I'm going to give you a good cuffing.
Right, Baelish will sigh heavily and then turn around and cover his ears.
Okay. And then Alicia will take out their book and will show Gaiman and Akia the 3 questions that she had asked with her commune spell the previous night. And the answers that she had received. And we'll just kind of look at them and be like, we need to be on our guard.
I'm both surprised and not surprised.
Okay.
And, they can try and bloody well take him.
And then we'll close their book. Alright, he's good to hear again.
Gaiman, would you like
Done talking.
would you like the repulsion shield for the day?
No, mate. Because I got this, and Gaiman will hold up his left arm. Can't really put a shield on.
Okay.
Kind of gets in the way.
Said Lewis would have finished her cigarette and come back in, saying like, oh, "Good morning, everyone."
Plus, I've got my favourite friend here, and he can be a human meat shield in place of it.
Baelish makes a
Yes.
face like, is that what you plan to do? Turn me into a meat shield?
I don't know. Is that what you would like? Would you like to be stuck with a bunch of prickly prongy arrows, eh? Yeah. You want to take a battle axe to the face, eh? Instead of me taking it to the face. Does that sound good? You like that? I'm just messing with you.
Though I will admit, probably the most dangerous place on any battlefield is probably right next to Gaiman, so I don't envy you whatsoever.
Perhaps maybe I should be manacled to someone else then, where it's not so dangerous. Because it sounds like there might be a battle.
I would hope of it. You're not going anywhere. Because I promised my mate Kia that I'm going to keep an eye on you. Always keep my promises.
He sighs heavily.
Don't look so down, Hobbit. No one's going to be taking you off of me. You're as safe as houses. Just so long as you don't take a short sword to the kidneys.
Bailishcan is continuing to look more and more horrified as you guys hear a knock at the door.
Hello.
Yeah, as another one of the prison guards, and the prison guard will say, I have been sent by the warden. The warden said that you'll have a meeting scheduled in her quarters.
Yes, I was just about to ask for one of the guards. I don't know if the rest of you need to come, but you're more than welcome to. I will ask Danica, could you accompany me? I may need some of your assistance.
Of course, Alicia, I will come with. It might be a good idea for us all to be there just in case. The warden may need all of us. She shrugs.
Well, yes. Dealing with spirits, you never know what might happen.
The guard said, dealing with spirits? Oh, yes. The warden's spirit problem.
All right, let's go, Poppy. Looks like we're going on a bit of a field trip.
Baelish will allow himself to be dragged along here. And let me pull him out. And I will once again copy paste you guys all into the warden's room. Guys, there are so many explosions happening by me right now. It is kind of nuts. Okay, the guards all offer you all, thanks to Akia's prorated idea, a blindfold as you guys walk through the prison.
Akia gladly accepts.
All right, my lad. I'm going to blindfold you, and if you give me any guff, I'm going to hit you in the back of the head real soft like. You know, soft for Goliath. So don't muck about.
Baelish will say, I'm not going to resist. No. I've learned that we need to kind of go with the flow when I'm with y'all.
Is this a fireplace?
Yes, there is a fireplace in this room.
Okay.
I don't know whether to believe you or whether you're just a very good liar. But, yep, that's a spirit. And if you prove different, that will be not good for you, mate. Not good at all.
I guess Lotus will just sort of like, figuring Gaiman's got the situation well in hand, I'll just sort of peek out from beside him and just look at Gant and just give a slow, knowing nod.
And I'll look at Gant and say, don't be bad. using abilities and link kill.
Hope you won't need that today.
Akia feels very strongly about Baelish Gant not being bad.
Absolutely.
Morning.
Good morning. Good morning. I'm glad to see that you all arrived comfortably here. I heard that you all had delicious cocoa last night.
Oh, it's been so long. Unfortunately, we only have substitutes, and Targos. It's a little expensive at times to get cocoa.
Nods, of course. Well, do you have any potential answer for me here?
I think I may have arrived at something. Are you ready for this?
He nods, yes.
Then please meet me in the center here.
The warden will meet you in the center.
And Alicia will sit down. Damn, everything uses water. Alright. Then Alicia will take out a vial of holy water. With the items that the warden had shown them the previous night. We'll kind of place them in front of the warden, between the both of them. We'll take the holy water and essentially kind of draw a circle around those items, putting a few symbols at essentially four cardinal directions around the circle. We'll then take some of the holy water and we'll draw a symbol with the warden's permission on their forehead.
Excellent. As this symbol is drawn, her eyes kind of roll back into her head as the energy in the room begins to crackle.
To the Morning Lord, there is a spirit here that inhabited the body of Martha Marcanus, warden of Rebels and Prison. While they were friends in life, I believe this spirit may need to move on to the afterlife. There may be some attachments to this world, but hopefully they will be able to let them go as they pass on. And as part of that saying, they're going to spend their 5th level spell slot, and we'll cast Spell Eagle.
Okay, and a 24.
Well, there's two parts of it. One is the dismissal, where I could make a spell attack and essentially slap her. But the other one, I'm doing the first, which is Break Enchantment. As your action, you touch a creature, you can reach that it's charmed, frightened, or possessed by a celestial, elemental, fey, fiend, or an undead. The creature you touch is no longer charmed, frightened, or possessed by such creatures.
Okay, so as you cast Dispel Evil and Good on Martha, there is this shattering of energy. This spectral form begins to emerge themselves from within Martha's body. The face begins to emerge from her face as a dwarven spirit pokes their head out of Martha. And what is this? What is happening? As their bodies are becoming separated by the ritual that has been laid out within the warden's room.
I have asked for the powers of my deity to expel you from the body of Martha here. I understand that you were looking out for her, however, your situation does cause some issues. If there is something that, some lingering attachments that you have, then please allow me the time to look into them. But I think you do need to pass on.
And Alicia, can you give the spirits a persuasion check?
Oh, great. Plus one. See how this goes. I will, if I am able to, I'll also tag myself with a guidance, but we'll see. Ew.
I guess the guidance.
You guys cool if I use a fan spell?
Go for it.
Don't have the greatest modifier on this, but we'll see. Okay.
That's a natural 20.
With on top of that, 25.
Black's brawn anvil will look to the body of Martha as she's basically like eyes rolled into the back of her head. Goo coming out of her nasal passages and her eyes. And he looks to you and he says, maybe it is time that I moved on. I've been being a little selfish here with my old friend.
She referred to you fondly. And the time that you both spent together. But know that you being remembered by her is probably one of the best gifts that you could give her.
The spirit nods. You're right. It is for the best. And Vlax will say, it's time for me to move on. Thank you, priest. And thank you, Marta. And you see that the ghost dissipates. As Marta's body lays on the ground, kind of convulsing for just a few moments, she slowly begins to take back her consciousness, coughs, ectoplasm.
Yeah, Lotus will rush over and help her up to her feet. It's like, oh, careful, careful.
And the warden will say, Did it work? Were we successful?
It worked. He has moved on.
will look out into kind of the just open space. And she'll just say aloud, "Goodbye, Flax." And she looks to you all. Thank you. You've done a great service to me. And to Revel's Inn.
You're welcome. Hopefully this will allow you to continue your duties here. And at least we'll kind of gather the items and place them into Marta's hands. Continue remembering your friend.
She nods. And I can't just let you all go without offering my thanks. And she opens the trunk and she pulls out a wand. And she will hand the wand to you, Alicia. And she will explain, this is a wand of binding. Within it, it has several magical charges. If you use a charge, you can cast the following spells. Hold monster with a save DC of 17, or hold person with a save DC of 17. While holding the wand, you can use your reaction to expend one charge to gain advantage on a saving throw to avoid being paralyzed or restrained. Or you can expend one charge to gain advantage on any check to escape a grapple.
Oh. This is quite powerful. I cannot accept this.
Just like, please, it's a gift given to me by the Harpers, and now I'm giving to you.
Thank you.
She nods. I'm sure you'll find a good use for it.
Well, there's quite a few things that seem to want to eat my friend Akia over here, so making sure that they don't move is probably for the best.
She nods. Was there anything else here at the prison that I could help you all with, or?
Well, there is one thing. Is it possible I might be able to meet with Counselor Kriv?
The warden looks to you and says, "Why, I'm sure we could arrange a meeting with the counselor and yourself."
Thank you.
And she looks to the others. Anything else that I could potentially help you all with?
Nothing here. But thank you for your time.
The warden will nod, and you guys can all take your leave. So I'll grab you all.
Oh, actually, I did have one thought. Everyone, do dogs do well on boats?
Depend.
I was just thinking, if we were to leave on a boat, that might be very dangerous for our sled team.
Mm,
Maybe if the rest of you think it would be a good idea, maybe the warden here could allow our sled team to travel with their next trip for supplies back down to Tin Towns. I assume you get supplies from Tin Towns.
Most of our supply runs actually come from the Sea of Moving Ice. We have several ships that come in and out. But if you are needing a temporary boarding situation, I'm sure we could make something work here at the prison.
we do have some business in the Sea of Moving Ice.
I just had a passing thought that it might be dangerous to bring the sled team on a boat. That is a lot of dogs, and I know dogs are good swimmers, but if something dangerous was to happen,
If
it
was
might
a
be very bad
couple-
for them.
If it was a couple of dogs, it may not be a problem. When it's... How many do we have again? 24? 18? I can't remember the number. That's quite a lot.
I believe we brought 16 with us, and the other 8 are in Targos. Or something like that.
Mm-hmm. Well, if you do need a temporary home for your legion of sled dogs, Revel's Inn will make sure that they are well cared for and protected.
What do the rest of you think?
I think that's a good alternative.
I just hate the thought of us bringing them with us and something bad happening to them. Our journey will be dangerous.
Well, I certainly feel that this would probably be the safest place for them. If it is a concern, I feel we might be able to pool some money to pay for food or resources to compensate you.
Well, she did just ask if we needed anything. You know, as like a reward for freeing her friend's spirit.
If you would be able to, Warrior Mathanis, we would appreciate it if you could keep our dogs here for the time being.
The warden will look to you and say, "Of course, I can make sure that they stay safe."
Thank you. And Akio will start putting on their blindfold.
All right, we'll have to add that to the notes that the dogs are going to stay in Revel's End. So the current hour is nearly 10 a.m.
All right, so I guess the question is, what's Lotus's priority? Meeting that other Dragonborn, or completing her contract?
Yes. Let's see here. Well, I guess Lotus is thinking that, she wouldn't want to take up too much time, but would just want to have a quick meeting with them, just to talk for a bit,
That does not seem like a group activity.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Baelish Gant would say, "Well, you could bring me, and you could shackle me to you instead."
You just don't want to be close to Gaiman.
Well, to be quite honest, he's quite a frightening individual.
Ironically, the most dangerous and safest position to be in a battle.
I guess, Lotus, you want to have a quick rendezvous with this gentleman. The word has been spread. And kind of meeting in this outside prison courtyard area. Crib will appear.
So, up to him, and just, once again, just like before, say in Draconic and then in Common. Well met, scale friend.
Well met. The deliberations took a little longer than what we might have thought, what we might have wished, but I'm glad that we got them done.
Yes. Once again, I thank you and the council for entrusting us with Gant. I'm sure it was not an easy decision, but I'm sure that you and the rest of the council are used to deliberating on such things.
He nods, of course. That is what we do as the Absolution Council.
Though I hope that my presence wasn't too distracting for you. I admit, not sure if it's the same for you, but you're actually the first Dragonborn other than myself I've seen in Icewind Dale.
We are a rare breed when it comes to counting who is in a room. And you, even rarer still. He does that thing where he kind of like sniffs and his secondary eyelids close. You don't mind me saying so, but I can tell that you're not from here.
I assume you're talking about this, and she says as she sort of moves her tail around to the front of her.
Yes, as you can see. He turns around, and for those of you who may be watching this from afar, you see this man show his hiney to Lotus. No tail.
See, and does this bother you at all?
No. Just confirming that you're from a different plane or planet. A different dragonborn race altogether.
Right. And how do you feel about that? She says, trying to sort of like get an idea for, how he feels about that sort of thing.
I'm interested to hear more about your planet and your culture from where you come from, and how it differs or is in similarity to my own.
Another time, perhaps. As you can see, I have some urgent business to take care of. However, I could see us possibly doing that once that's been settled. And if you're interested, and I'll lean in a little bit closer to him, perhaps something more?
You guys can see this silver dragonborn blush and say, yes, maybe after we come to learn more about each other's cultures. At one point, the people here were considered alien as well. And to answer Alicia's question, yes, the prison does have that service.
Oh. I didn't want to interrupt.
Well, it's alright. So to him say, well, it has been very lovely to meet you. We should talk again sometime.
Why, yes, next time you're at the prison.
And in Draconic, I will say, may the light of Bahamut shine upon you.
The Dragonborn will look almost surprised that you know this prayer, and you'll say, and let the light of Bahamut shine upon you.
Right. Then I'll give him a little wink and then saunter back over to the rest of the group.
My question for the provision stuff was for some common stuff and some maybe not so common stuff. Rations, healing potions. Do they have things like incense or powdered silver?
Okay, so, 1 second here, because there's actually a section for this. The guard that has been acting as your liaison will say, "Oi, yes, there is actually, not within the prison itself, but a group of ships that seems to come and moor itself to sell provisions to the prison and to perhaps guests of the prison. There is a ship known as the Ravenous. Comes from Neverwinter to bring supplies.
Is there a dock that we can go to meet these merchants?
The guard will nod, of course. It's on the far side of the prison, where it attaches to the sea of moving ice.
Alright. It looks like Alicia's gonna head up in that direction. Then how about anyone else?
I'll go too. I've already been playing over by that cliff, and I see the best way down. Playing by cliffs is fun.
Evil Knievel would agree.
We should check and see if they have any mithril ingots. I could make so much out of some mithril ingots. Or adamantine.
I guess I would approach the rest of the group and say, like, alright, and say, like, alright, Gantz, you're gonna need to plug your ears again.
Gantz will sigh and plug his ears.
Alright, so
Yeah, I want to
So-
really hear those la 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 la's good and clear and loud.
And he will start to acquiesce to make sure that everyone can hear him. La la la.
Alright, so yeah, I'll approach the rest of the party and say, like, alright, so I talked with Kriv, and he figured out pretty quickly that I was, and I'll whisper really softly to everyone that I was an alien.
Makes sense. I think the only Dragonborn I've ever really seen don't exactly look like you. I think the major omission is the lack of tail.
Yes, but you don't need to worry. He seems to be very interested in me, just with a raise of her eyebrows.
Ah,
Pardon me for saying so, because I'm not in a relationship with you all, but who's okay with all this?
Well, yes, I made sure to talk it over with Watto, and he's totally fine with it.
All right.
Though I do appreciate your concern, Gaiman.
Well, you two seem to get along just fine. I don't know why you want to go and complicate matters with the third person.
Well, you know, he's the first ever Dragonborn I've seen, since I've got here, and I don't know if it'll get that far. He at least wants to know more about me and where I come from, but that's something I told him that we can discuss another time. We have other things to worry about right now.
I'll just stay out of it. I've never been in a relationship before. Just don't understand it. It just doesn't make sense. But ignore me. Shut up.
love triangles are complicated. Just takes a glance at Danica and then just looks up at the sky and just starts walking through the docks.
I'll
Me,
just-
that girl and the gods.
All right, I'll pat Valish on his shoulder to let him know that he can stop.
He will unplug his ears and say, "Ah, finally." And let me take you guys to the docks. I'm just getting copied and pasted around this entire map. And you guys are kind of led, once again, blindfolded, through prison activity. You are brought over to this area. You see there is a couple of guardsmen manning a lift. Then you see there are a few what appear to be operational people working the pier as there is a ship pulled in.
I would like to check the structural integrity of the lift.
All right, give me a type of tinkering roll to see if you can check out this. Pretty good. With that tinker's check, you believe that this is a very solid manufactured lift that seems to bring people from this base level up to the higher central tower.
Okay. I see you, lift.
What does Akia have against the lift?
No, it's in a good way.
Oh, okay. Not a conspiratorial I see you, just an I see you. Okay. So players, you see that there is this grand ship. There are people working back and forth on the pier and the dock. There are all sorts of guardsmen that appear to have the crest of the Lord's Alliance and Revel's End.
Yeah, Alicia will walk up to the closest and ask if is there a we had heard that merchants come to these docks. Is there a dock master or pier master or someone who handles transactions? I'm not exactly sure how this goes.
Do they sell the goods directly from the ship, or do the goods come down into like a building?
They will point you all to a gentleman standing at the top of the pier. They point you to Newbold.
Ah, thank you. Head that direction.
Yes, Newbold has a very official-looking clipboard, and he is marking things down and giving orders to other dock workers as you guys all approach.
Yeah, as she'll be like, been a while since I've been to proper working docks. And she starts reminiscing about her mother's time as head of the dock workers union.
Alicia, ask them where they keep the adamantine and mithril ingots.
Sure. You do realize those are relatively rare materials, right?
Akia gives you a thumbs up.
It just watches you walk away. Right. Hello.
Hello, I'm Newbold, the pier master.
Hi, Alicia Alpen. We had heard that it's maybe possible to purchase some trade items from the docks. Not exactly sure how that works. Also, did have a question about, I guess, the vessel that come and go from the prison.
Yes, you are able to purchase from the merchant ships here. Oh, and yes, what is it about the ships that I can answer?
They travel through the sea of moving ice. Yes. Do they ever go close to any of the, what's the word I'm looking for? I guess larger ice shelves?
Yes, the captains are willing to sail the seas and be chartered by any of either the rebels in staff or if we have any guests about. Are you looking for a charter?
Possibly. There, from our knowledge, there's a old ruins that's on an ice shelf in the sea of moving ice. Was wondering if there was anyone who'd be willing to go there.
I think of only one person when I think of going to exotic locales and finding dangerous ports when it comes to these sailing ships. And that's Sharlasta Stormsword. Captain of the Ravenous.
Where can we speak with this Captain Stormsword?
If you'll give me just a few moments, I can go set a meet. I'm sure I could find her on the Ravenous.
The Ravenous is also the name of the ship that was, we were told by the guard as the merchant ship.
I believe so.
Are you going to do a ship flex? A flex off?
Probably.
Well, the Pure Master will say, well, I'll just be a few minutes, and he will step aboard the ship and go off to find the captain.
That is true. We do have that odd pirate ship thing. Maybe as
Phantoms.
a last resort.
Phantom's Requiem.
Right.
But-
that.
But Phantom's Requiem is our friend. Why would we save it as a last resort?
I don't actually have any good excuse.
Well, I think in this case we might want to, because I think a rather, lean over towards Akia, like whispering, I think having a large ship that's also a giant monster might put the guards on edge, to put it mildly.
Maybe we can use the
Um,
Phantom's Requiem on the return trip.
I don't understand what point you're trying to make.
Yannicka will hop in. Akia, I think what
Yes.
they're trying to say is, if we took off from port right now, summoned Phantom's Requiem right here, it might be, well, a bit alarming for all of the guards to see a gigantic mimic ship appear out of nowhere. And from what they said, they have a garrison of about 100 soldiers. Can you imagine if 100 soldiers just got the wrong idea and just started attacking us?
Oh. Oh, okay. I gotcha.
And almost on cue, you're attacked by 100 soldiers. No,
Roll initiative.
you guys feel like there's a change in the air just based on who's walking down the gangplank. A elven woman with a huge plumed hat, leather coat, and enough earrings to fill a J.C. Penney jewelry display case. Walks down off the Ravenous. Ahoy there, she says as she walks towards your group. You in need of a ship?
Yes. And it seems like you have one that can provide.
That's right. That's right. Where is it that you all are wishing to sail to?
I don't know if you've seen it on your way to the prison, but there's some ruins on ice shelf out in the sea of moving ice. Kind of looks like a giant skull.
You speak of Grimscowl.
Yes.
I know of the Isle. A cursed place. It radiates an aura of darkness and death that I've never seen before. But you'd be needing a ferry there.
We would. And seeing as you're familiar with this place, I'm assuming you are familiar that this would be a dangerous voyage as well.
They nod. Yes. And it's quite a trip. Roughly 5 days' time it would take us to get to Grimskull from here.
Well, I have no issues with that. Kind of turns to look at the others.
Lotus will nod and say, yes, though I'm sure you wouldn't be expecting to do it for free.
He nods. I have deals with adventurers or guests of the prison that wish to go, how do we say, artifacting. In another world, we'd say plundering the isles of the Sea of the Moving Ice. You can either pay me a flat rate or a cut of your treasure after you get back.
how much are we talking?
The going rate to bring the Ravenous, you lots, and any cargo you need to be hauling is 1,000 gold pieces to make to Grimskull. I'm factoring in danger pay for that. I've had no one contract me to go there. The darkness, the death, the danger it radiates. No one brave enough to step foot on that isle. And if you don't have the upfront money, I would be agreeable to a 10% cut of the treasure.
Very well. These terms seem reasonable, but allow us to discuss it with the rest of our party first before we come to a full agreement.
Of course. I'll just be standing over here on my boat.
And so, out of character, I'm looking at my sheet right now. I have 857 gold, so I am willing to give all of that if need be, if anyone else can foot the rest.
With what I had Akia create, I'm down to just shy of 400. I mean, if we all do, well, I don't know what everyone else's coinage currently is. I mean, 200 each for would cover us. Or do we feel like 10% of the treasure, whatever we find, a cheaper alternative?
10% of whatever we find is probably cheaper.
What would necessitate us finding treasure?
Right, because right now our big mission is to get there, to find essentially the physical components we need for whatever spell to deactivate whatever the fucking church form is doing.
From Alicia's study from the plates, was Grimskull like a holy site of any kind?
It was a giant fortress built by frost giants to honor Thrym, the frost giant god.
Alicia would voice some concerns of robbing from a holy site. Maybe paying her up front wouldn't be a bad idea. Though, from what I understand, it's a former location of the Frost Giants. I don't know if they're still there now. Still, though, if it is a site of one of their gods, I am a bit hesitant to plunder from the place.
Maybe she'll take payments in the form of cursed totems.
Well, I'm fine with either method. We can each do 200, pay 1,000, or whatever we find on that island. If it is treasure.
Well, what I'm just feeling right now is like very disappointed that we've gone from summoning a mimic ship to paying 1,000 gold for a non-mimic ship. Just feeling a little disappointed right now.
I mean, we can summon a mimic
Don't-
ship and see what happens.
I mean, the thing is like, if it were any other circumstances, I would definitely suggest that in character. But, you know, like you said, 100 soldiers seeing a giant mimic ship barreling towards them does not sound like they're going to react very favorably towards it.
And you have to think of the Lord's Alliance as a very, anti-monster, pro-people type organization. Very much, I would almost say, like, conservative versus the more free-wheeling and dealing harpers. So if they see, like, a mimic ship, they're going to be like, fucking burn it down!
Also, are you planning on dealing with Valish before we set sail, or are you?
Oh, I was thinking
How long are
probably-
you gonna keep them?
I at least want to wait till we're outside of like the immediate area of the prison, because I would imagine, this what might happen. It's like I imagine that, once I tell the imp, like, okay, like, deal's done, that someone or something's gonna come for him, and like, we don't need to be doing that right in full view of anyone who works at the prison.
Sure.
And hey, everything's legal in international waters, right? That's how that's how it works throughout all planes of existence.
If we're really committed to the mimic ship, then all Alicia wanted to do was just purchase some supply. So we can just, once we're done with that, then just leave the prison, find some other place, and summon the ship from there, and then go.
Yeah, that is true.
You guys can make your way as far away from the prison as you feel comfortable, and then summon the ship.
Yeah.
I'd be fine with that.
So committed over to the mimic ship.
I mean, my first vote would be for mimic ship, and then if we don't do that, I would say the 10% thing. But I would definitely say mimic ship first, because that's really, really cool.
That, and now that I'm thinking about it, is that the mimic ship is a known quantity. We know that we can trust them, and that they trust us.
I think trust maybe a bit. Sure. But no, I get what you're saying. All right, I'm curious to see how this pans out. I guess mimic ship it is. Gammon, any thoughts?
Well, soon as we can get back to that shop, I mean, Demon wants that immovable rod still. And he would rather not part with any gold because what he has, I think, is just enough to cover the remaining balance owed. I vote mimic ship.
Alright, sounds like mimic ship it is then. We'll present that answer to the captain. Unfortunately, won't be taking her up on our offer. But if they do have goods to sell, then at least we'll look to purchase them some.
I do have goods to sell, of course. And they have all sorts of stuff that if you're needing to buy aboard their ship, as they have made the rounds, kind of trying to break through the sea of moving ice, coming up from their home base. Oh my gosh, I just had it. Let's just say that whatever you probably need to buy, they've got in stock. Yes, their port of call is in Neverwinter. So that's a good spot for us then to break for the evening as you guys are getting ready to head out from Revel's End. You guys have completed your Revel's End arc. You have Valish Gant in hand. The open ocean lies out in front of you. Or I should say the open sea of moving ice. And your guys' reunion with old PBR right around the corner. Very cool. There we go.
Yeah, that's just awesome. I've been looking forward to summoning Phantom's Requiem for months.
Nothing could go wrong with that thing.
It doesn't matter if something goes wrong. That's objectively cool.
Now, you guys, as you guys would set feet onto Phantom Requiem and head towards the Isle of Grimscale, this whole time we've been kind of hanging out in chapter 4.9. We will officially be in chapter 5 of the adventure of 7 chapters. Cool. Well, y'all, I'm excited for next week when we head to Grimskull. It's a 5-day journey from near Revel's End or Revel's End to get there. You may have to avoid some dangerous locales, some ice flows, perhaps even a water spout. We'll just have to see what the dice decide. Before we close for the evening, does anybody have any closing words?
Thanks for the game.
Yes, good game, everyone. Thank you.
My pleasure. I hope you guys have a good one. I have to head to bed. I am coaching in the morning, and I don't think anyone's going to like me for what I'm going to make them do, because it's going to be hard.
That's what she said.
Mm-hmm. And we all know that we can do hard things. All right. You guys have a good rest of your evening. Good night, guys.
Thanks for running.
My pleasure. Bye-bye.
Thanks everyone for tuning in. Catch you next time.